there, and welcome to another exciting episode of Eye on the Money, the television show that gives you insights into how to improve your financial well-being as well as make your money work for you. And I'm your host, Ingrid Nantege. And just a reminder that our collaboration with Centonomy continues. And in fact, today on the show, we're going to discuss investments and why that's a smart way for you to grow your money. Now, investing isn't just for the very wealthy and top CEOs. As a matter of fact, investing in various avenues, such as the stock market, is one of the most common ways that the average person can even become a millionaire. Learning how to invest for the first time can feel intimidating, but it's not nearly as scary as you might think. And that's why we're here today, because today on the show, we're going to discuss the best ways to start investing and also point out a few things that you should consider. Joining me in studio to discuss all this and more is none other than Michael Toto, Programs Manager at Centonomy. I like that endorsement you gave me when I said your name right.
Yes, indeed.
Welcome to the show, Michael.
Thank you for having me, Ingrid. Glad and excited to be here.
Absolutely, and particularly to talk about investment.
Yes.
Now, Michael, as is the norm on the show, before we even get into that expert talk, you're going to help us understand this whole concept of investments.
Yes.
But before that, we took to the streets of Nairobi to figure out what the common Kenyan understands on the topic.
All right, let's see.
Investment ni kwa Kiswahili ni kuwekeza. So for example, kama uko na pesa fulani na unataka unaenda tuseme tu unaweza nunua shamba.
Is it like a form of saving? At the moment, not really, but I'm thinking maybe in the future. Okay. Yeah.
Investments kwa saizi niko nayo kidogo, lakini najua investment ni ile hali ya vitu investment ni like kuwekeza pesa ama kuwekeza something like any project ya kuprosper kwa pesa.
Kuinvest nilikuwa nimesema ni like umewekelea do yako pahali at some time ikuwe tuseme kama umeweka 100,000 yani izae ukuje upate like 200,000 or more.
Investment is basically saving from the future, and I do have any.
As per my understanding, what an investment is, it's having an idea towards a business that it will make one multiply that business to prosper him.
Kiwango ya chini kabisa chenye mtu anaweza akaanza nazo kwa investment, like in Nairobi ni around 200,000 300,000. At least anaweza akaanza kidogo akigrow tu.
It just depends with the amount of money that you're earning at the time. Yes, so you can be able to plan yourself according to what your salary is.
I wouldn't actually capitulate it to any amount. I'll say basically any amount, as little as you can get.
It depends with the idea. For example, if you want to invest in a shop, you need maybe roughly 10,000 shillings. And out of the returns, by returns I mean profit, now you can expand that business or that investment to a supermarket, to a mall.
At least 500,000. Yeah, ndio hiyo unaweza kuinvest na 500,000 ndio unapata hiyo. Yani hiyo ndio pesa mzuri ya kuanza investment, because huwezi enda kuanza investment na 100,000, but it is possible unaweza anza, kwa sababu pia hiyo 100,000 unaweza anza kuanza na biashara ya kuku. Unajua kuku pia ni biashara mzuri, inakupea mayai na bado ina nyama, unaona? So ukiinvest na hiyo 100,000 unapata tuseme kama hiyo 100,000 umechukua kama kuku 200.
The safest investment I'll take, for example, goods. I mean, for example, I'll say maybe things that people need. You see, for example, people need to eat daily. So the best investment you can invest in is something that maybe people need at that moment. For example, clothes. People will need clothes in each and every day's life. People will need food. People will need security. So those are things that people are supposed to invest in, because they'll never collapse.
Ukiinvest in land, that is the safest, because one thing, the moment umekelea pesa yako pale, so umekelea like that 500,000. Hiyo shamba hata ukiuza kesho, yes toka that amount. The moment umekelea tu hiyo do hapo, the price inaanza ku appreciate instantly.
SACCOs are safer because you're able to not only earn your savings, but you're able to get things that can be able to help you. Like circles, most of the time, usually like invest in land. So, and these are things that accelerate or appreciate over time.
Kama niko na around 3 million, naweza nunua shamba mahali na nijenge tu. Hiyo nitakaa hapo, watoto wangu, wajukuu wangu. So hiyo sitakuwa na tashwishi yoyote kwa sababu hiyo niko sawa nayo.
Kwa saizi nikijaribu kufikiria ni real estate. Real estate investment ndio the best saizi. Sababu real estate haina management ni rahisi. Management ni rahisi na pia real estate ina appreciate in a very short period of time.
So Michael, there you have it. We've heard what the people on the streets think. Now to get into the beef of the conversation, you know, when I was having a conversation with Shiba earlier on, the first topic we talked about was self-employment versus entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
And I thought I knew it all until she came here to tell us that there's actually a difference between these two. So I won't again assume that as we go into talking about investments, everyone understands. So I would like us to begin with the basics.
All right.
When we talk about investments, or even when we advise people about how important investing is, what exactly does this even mean?
All right. Now, Ingrid, thank you for having me again. When you talk about investments, you think about how you're going to grow your money, right? But I always say, before investments comes saving, right? So before you even talk about investments, we need to start with savings first, right? And many people will tell you this, especially experts on personal finance matters. They'll tell you that the first thing that you always need to do is to pay yourself first, right? Pay yourself first just means save and then invest, right? So before we go to investing, we need to start with the savings, right? And I know you might be asking, why is it important to start with saving, right? Because first of all, when you invest in your money, you might be putting your money away, you know, for some time, and it might be hard to access it, right? So we always need something, in case of an emergency, something that we can access easily, right? And that should be like a saving, right? So in case of an emergency, you have somewhere that you can get your money quickly and easily, right? Now, and then also, I always say this everywhere I go, I tell people that you can't start saving and investing if you don't have at least 2 bank accounts, right?
You have to have 2 bank accounts.
At least 2 bank accounts.
At the very least.
At least.
Right.
Why is it important? It's because you need to separate your money, right? Because again, you can't be saving in the same account that you are using for your day-to-day activities, right? When you go for shopping, can be the same account that you're swiping from. That is the same account that you're saving in, right? So you need to separate your money, right? And one of the easiest ways of separating your money is having at least 2 bank accounts. So one is a current account, which you'll use for your day-to-day activities, your, you know, your shopping, your food, your transport, all the things, yeah? Buying credit, airtime, all these things, right? And then you now have a savings account now where you will direct your savings and your investments.
Right.
All right. So first things first. Before we start with investing, we need to start with saving first, right? And then also before saving and investing, we need to have at least 2 bank accounts, right? So those are the basics. Right?
So Michael, and I really like how you're explaining this because it's like you're giving us step by step how to guide. So it's really very easy to understand. But even when you talk about that, savings always have to come before investments.
Yes.
Fine. I'm someone who's listened to you. I've put some savings away every month. I've been very good at doing that. How do I know then I'm ready to invest? How much in savings do I need to have put away? Are there telltale signs? Like, do I have to have my bank account with zeros up to 10, you know, in savings?
Now,
at what point does someone decide, okay, now I'm ready?
Now I'm ready to invest.
Right.
That's a fantastic question, actually. Right. So there's something we call an emergency fund, right? And when you're saving, you should actually be saving towards a goal, first of all, right? Because saving for the sake of saving is boring. Right. So you need something to motivate you. So I'm saving towards this, I'm saving towards going on a holiday, right? I'm saving so that I can buy a phone, I can upgrade my phone. I'm saving to, you know, yeah, save to do something, right? But also, it's also important to save for emergencies, right? And the best way you can do this is save for something called an emergency fund. Now you're asking how much?
How much?
Right? Now, personal finance experts will advise 6 to 12 months of your living, of your expenses, of your monthly expenses, right? So let's say your monthly expenses are 50,000, right? So you should have at least 6 months worth of that, which is
And that's the emergency fund.
Yes.
Right.
So that's like 300,000, right? Yeah. So whatever you use on a monthly basis, just multiply that by 6, so that at least you have 6 months, right? Just in case anything happens, right? And we were showed this by COVID.
Yes.
Right? Yeah, many people lost their jobs. Businesses went down almost immediately. So if you didn't have an emergency fund, it was a bit hard to, survive, not really survive, but to stay afloat, you know? Yeah, so that's why it's important to start with savings, especially an emergency fund, so that if something comes, then you'll be good, right? So 6 to 12 months, right? Yes.
So Michael, with that said, I've put in place everything. Like I said, you're doing this as a step-to-step guide,
yes.
right? You've told us you have to have savings, you have to have 2 accounts in place.
Yes.
The amount of savings should be the equivalent of, well, the emergency fund should have the equivalent of 6 to 12 months. I have all that in place.
Great.
I'm ready to start investing.
Right.
As Ingrid, I'm sitting over here. I've listened to Michael. In fact, I've called you up and I'm like, Michael, I have everything in place. I'm ready to start. When I'm deciding on making this investment decision, what should inform it? And Michael, I ask this because a lot of people, when they're trying to figure out where to invest, they'll be told things like, oh, it should be something you're passionate about. Or it should be something that's, that's trendy at the moment. Or quail eggs are making money at this moment. So what should be, to avoid a situation where you jump onto a fad that could be working for Michael but not work for Ingrid, what should inform this investment decision?
Great. So what should inform your investment decision is what you want to get.
Right.
What? Okay? Right. Is what you want to get at the end of the investment, right? So investments should do at least these 3 basic things that I'm going to let you, to tell you, right? So a good investment should, number 1, preserve your capital, right? So at least a good investment should preserve your capital. And then a good investment should also give you income, right? Give you income. And then also something else that an investment should do, a good investment should do, is grow your capital, right? So those 3 things are key, right? When you're looking at investing. So what do you want your money to do for you, right? So those key 3 things will inform you where you can now invest, right? Depending on what you want your money to do for you, right? Capital preservation, income, capital growth, right? Those 3 key things will now tell you, put your money here.
Now, in line with what you've said, and also going by the fact that as a beginner saver, we all know the risk that comes with investment. We can't say it's risk-free. In fact, they say the bigger the risk, the higher the return. But yeah, in fact, I would like to hear your thoughts on that. But for someone who's decided, they've listened to you, they're looking at an investment that will preserve your capital, I don't even know how you can guarantee this or help you give you income or grow your capital. The question is there a guide for a beginner, right?
Yes.
That's low risk, that's easy, where you can say, okay, start easy, then we'll ease you into this, just like a baby, right? You start by crawling, you sit, you crawl, you walk.
Great. Actually, we're headed there.
Let's go there.
So first things first, preserve your capital. What do you think that means, Ingrid?
Don't lose your money.
Don't lose your money.
Right.
Great. Now, disclaimer, finance people are not so creative, so they use words as they are. So preserve your capital is exactly that, right? Whatever I'm putting here in this capital preservation option, when I come here tomorrow, I need to see it, it's still there.
Right.
And I come here next month, it should be still there. Next year, it should be still there, right? So with that explanation, what do you think that is? You're not going to lose your money.
Right.
What you put is what you will get.
Right.
Yeah. Capital preservation.
Right. So wait, what's the question?
What do you think, or what avenue do you think that is? Capital preservation. So I put 5,000 here today.
Yes.
Tomorrow I come, it's still 5,000.
Right.
Next month is still 5,000.
Right.
Next year it's still 5,000.
Right. That's
Yes.
the money is not making money for
Yes.
you. You're just keeping
Preserving
it
it.
there. You're just preserving
Preserving
it.
your capital.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Example is?
In a but a bank. Bank.
A bank account.
Right.
Right. And that's why I said before investing, you need to start with
Oh my
saving.
God, you're really taking me through a class, and I love it.
Yes, right? So before you start investing, you need to go through saving. And saving is just that, capital preservation, right? And I said why it's important, right? For emergencies, but now also for things like, there are those expenses that do not increase in value over time, right? For example, house rent, right? You have a lease for 1 year,
Yes.
right? School fees, you have a fee schedule for 1 year, right? So that money, money for house rent, money for school fees, you can now put it in a capital preservation area, right? Because you want, when tomorrow comes, that money is there. Your money for rent is there.
Right.
Your money for school fees for your kids is there, right? So that's why we start with capital preservation. And then there's this type of money that you need to put there for certain expenses like school fees that will not increase, and also for rent, right? Because also this money, you need it almost every month,
Yes.
right? So that's why we need capital preservation, right? Great. So that's number one. That's saving, right?
Yes.
And as I explained, you also brought in the issue of risk.
Yes.
You will see the more I go, the higher the risk becomes, right? Because now we can see we're just putting our money here in a savings account, so the risk is quite low, right? Why? Because also the growth is not there,
Right.
So here it's low risk, low return, right? And that's capital preservation, right? Great. Now, we've sorted that out.
Yes.
Right? Now let's go how you can get income, and then now how you can grow your capital.
Right.
Right. Now, income. Yeah. How would you define income, Ingrid?
So income is like money earned, right? Like money made.
Money
is-
made.
Yeah.
Let's say
Like my income, my
like
a salary.
Yeah, there you go. Like a salary, right?
Like a salary.
So now you're putting your money somewhere, and you're expecting this money to do for you what a salary would do for you,
Right.
Hit your account almost every, at a certain amount of time, my money will hit the account.
Right.
If you're employed, at the end of the month, I'll get some money,
Right.
Yes. The same with income giving investments, right? So if you're investing so that you can get income, then this is what you need to invest in. And this is good, especially for people in retirement,
Yes.
right? Because when you're retiring, one of the biggest problems is there's no more income, right? You are used to a salary,
Yes.
there's no more salary,
Yes.
right? But if you had invested in income-giving investments, then you'd be okay, right? One of the best examples of an investment that gives you income is a treasury bond, right? And a treasury bond is simply us, the citizens of Kenya,
Right.
and any citizen of a sovereign country, giving that government a loan, right? So the government comes and it says it needs a loan, and how it does that, it advertises for a bid for us to buy bonds, right? So when you hear of a treasury bond, just know it's an investment that you can get in
Right.
by you giving a loan to the government. Yes. So the government asks for loans, and we give them that money.
Right.
And then it pays us back with interest. Yes. So every 6 months, you will get money in your account if you have invested in a treasury bond, right? So if your goal is income, then that is the kind of investment that you need to
Right.
put your money in, right? So a treasury bond will give you income every 6 months, so it gives income every 6 months, right? But now this income, all investments, they give interests or they earn your money in a per annum basis, right? Let's say the interest is 10% per annum. So if this bond, if the interest is 10% per annum, then that means that you will get 5% every 6 months to make 10% for that 1 year.
Right.
Right?
Right.
Great. Let me try and break it down
Okay.
a bit further. right?
Wait, can we break it down right after the break?
Sure.
Because in my opinion, we're
Yeah.
giving a free Centonomy class to my audience, and I really am into it. I really love the practical examples you're giving. So our audience back home, remember you can be a part of this conversation by sending your questions, feedback, queries to our social media handles at Metropole TV KE on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And with me in studio, just remember, we have the program's manager from Centonomy, Michael Toto. We'll be right back.